And if the Bible tells us that, everything, God permits everything and the best good comes out of it, then when we look at the story of Joseph, what actually happened to Joseph? Was his life easy?
No.
His life wasn't easy, but was it successful?
Yeah.
Now, we're not saying that because you're connected to God, because obviously the reason he was successful was because he was connected to God.
Yeah.
But we're not trying to promote that, okay, if you're connected to God, you're going to be successful. Sometimes there's going to be difficulties. Sometimes there's going to be failures.
Well, God said it wasn't going to be easy, right?
Exactly. So what we want to highlight here in the story of Joseph is not so much what Joseph did or how the outcome was for Joseph, but we want to see God in this picture, God in this plan, God in this story. And when we look at God in this story, what we actually see is that Joseph went through trial after trial after trial, so many different difficulties, so many different degrees of difficulties, because one, he was a slave, then he became a prisoner. Like, it's different levels of difficulty. And I'm sure he went through hunger. I'm sure he went through pain, all kinds of different scenarios, abandonment. Like, we could talk about so many different things that he went through, yet God permitted all that to happen.
And he never gave up on God.
He never gave up on God. So we're actually going to get to why he never gave up on God, because this ties in with the providence. So we see God's hand working in his life because God was focused on a certain end result.
Yeah.
We so many times focus on just what's in front of us, the surface. And that's why we see when something bad happens, well, this isn't fair. Or when something happens to someone else, oh, they just got lucky. They didn't actually deserve it or whatever it is. And we keep throwing these phrases, luck and coincidence and things like that, like just so casually.
Because that's how the world views it, right?
That's how the world views it. But should we as Christians be using these kinds of terms? Because when we look at the story of Joseph, what the Bible tells us in Genesis, I'm gonna read Genesis just so that we can get to the end, because God's focus is the end goal, the end result. God sees the end from the beginning and the beginning to the end. We only see what's in front of us.
Yeah.
So we want to get the picture that God actually saw from the beginning and why God permitted all those bad things to happen to someone such as Joseph. Now, if we go to Genesis 50, verse 20, here's what the Bible tells us.